Hi, I'm Yarlin.
And I'm Katie.
And this is Fae and Fables, a podcast hosted by two mental health counselors who take a psych deep dive into your favorite fantasy and romantasy books. Today, we're going to do a deep dive into A Court of Frost and Starlight by
Yay.
Sarah J Maas. Yay!
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
Me too.
The end of our full review of SJM's books is drawing ever closer. I cannot believe that we're this far in.
I know. One book left, and then we wait until the new ones come out.
Oh yeah. Well, and we're gonna do our Crescent City. Don't you all worry.
Yeah, don't you worry.
We're gonna be reviewing Crescent City as well. But I think it's gonna be really interesting to go through the whole ACOTAR process, and then just a few months from now have new ACOTAR content in our hands after
long
6
awaited.
years.
Yeah, long awaited.
Yes.
It's almost like if it was destiny for us covering it on the pod.
It's almost like we've been preparing a whole year for this, and we had a little bit of telepathy. We literally, we could not have planned this better.
I know.
We must have been on something. Fate must have tapped us on the shoulder, because we literally said June of last year, hey, we should do a full review of Sarah J Maas. Something's bound to come out. And here we are. Not to say we told you so, universe, but we did. But we kind of did. So let's get into it. Before we get into the content of the book, we have some disclaimers and spoiler warnings. First and foremost, this episode contains spoilers for the first 4 books of the ACOTAR series, including A Court of Thorns and Roses, A Court of Mist and Fury, A Court of Wings and Ruin, and A Court of Frost and Starlight. Additionally, several potentially triggering, emotional, and or traumatic themes may be discussed that could be impactful or upsetting. Note that adult language and themes are also used in the discussion of this book, so please take care of yourself and use caution if you're not in a space to engage with these conversations. Furthermore, this podcast is hosted by 2 licensed mental health counselors, but it should not be used to diagnose, treat, or address any individual mental health concerns or conditions. The knowledge, opinions, and experiences we express related to mental health are our own and should not be applied as treatment. This is just for fun. If you feel like you need mental health treatment, please seek out your own individualized mental health care. And then our order of events, which includes our rankings and ratings, our teehee moments. And this week we decided to do a little combo of our character case and our counselor's couch. We just feel like we keep drawing these ties between them. So we thought, why not combine them? So we have our combo counselor's couch, where we're each going to talk about an element of a character's psychology, and then what if they were our client, and how can we expand this out into the real world space. We have our red flag court, which we always love to do. It's maybe my favorite. Not to pick favorites, but it is. And then finally, what's up in our realm? What are we reading? What's coming for the podcast, and how you could contact us.
Okay, so now as we get into rankings and ratings, I'll give a little intro to the story of what we're kind of seeing in A Court of Frost and Starlight. It's centered around the winter solstice and follows the POVs of several main characters, including Feyre, Rhysand, Cassian, Nesta, and more. Everyone is trying to figure themselves out after the horrors of the war with Hybern, and each of them faces different victories and challenges. Rhys and Feyre are navigating their roles as High Lord and Lady, as well as the decision to start trying for a baby. Rhys, Az, and Cassian are dealing with the fallout among Illyrians who suffered casualties in the war, as well as the movements of the remainder of Hybern's people and the mortal queens. Feyre is working to build her art studio in Valaris and navigate her relationships with her sister. Nesta is numb and traumatized from the war and her time in the cauldron, using isolation, drinking, and sex to try and cope. Moore is facing her continued struggles with keeping her queer identity a secret and is tasked with spying on the continent. And while all of this unfolds, they celebrate winter solstice together and work to try to decide how they will face a new world without a wall between the humans and the Fae.
So much.
I love
So
this book
much.
so much.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, do you want to give your rankings and your ratings?
Yes. So I gave this book a 5-star. It
Hell
was
yeah.
I thought it was like a really nice connection. I don't know. I really loved it. I gave it 3 chili peppers. I don't know what I was feeling, but
She was pepped up. She
was pepped up, and you'll see that
Mhm.
in my teehee moments.
Woohoo.
And then I'm gonna put this on my second shelf.
Yeah. Yep. I think this may be a momentous moment in history in that I'm ranking a book lower than you did. Maybe the first time ever. I can't remember another book for which that was true. I gave this 4 stars, and it's nothing. I don't think the writing's bad. I love the characters. I think it's just a bit novella-ish, and to me, it's a connector to the events of Court of Silver Flames. Again, I get why it exists, but it just is not the most exciting to me. Like it's still an amazing book. I love it. Wouldn't want the series without it, but I don't think it goes all the way to 5 stars for me. So I gave it 4. I gave it 2 chili peps. I don't know what place I was in at the moment. Maybe I was. Oh, you know what I was doing? I was reading Game On. I was reading Game On by Nevessa Allen. Let me tell you what.
Compare.
Let me tell you what. The peps, you can't. It's like 2 different things. And then also on my second shelf, again, great book, but it just doesn't like. It's not like God tier, S tier books on my shelf. I think it is also important to highlight among our rankings and our ratings, among our review of the story, that we also today are repping the Night Court horde. Look at it.
Oh yeah.
Look at it. Hey. We coordinated and we said, you know what? It's high time we get some merch around here with some Valaris Night Court merch. So we are repping it today, and I'm just honestly, this may be the start of a problem for me, because now that I have it on, I'm like, I want more. This is my first Night Court merch item. So
yeah, me too. They had another one that it was something about like bookshop or something, but it was also ACOTAR theme.
Yes.
I might have to get that one as well.
Was it the House of Wind bookshop?
Yes, okay,
that one. Okay. So we can't get too into that reference, but I have seen that shirt. I want that one, and I like the Surreal Tea Shop ones. I like cute. I'm seeing a lot of stuff, and I'm like, y'all are out here on Etsy and at Target and all the places.
Yeah.
Making this a tempting prize. So not only are we here to talk and be here mentally, but we have embodied our commitment to the Night Court.
Yes, because we love it here.
Yeah, I want to like roll around the streets of Valaris. I love it so much. So if you want to, when you're listening to this, you want to grab whatever Night Court merch you got and join us, please join us.
Yeah, sip some tea.
Sip some tea. Have a little lunch on the Sidra at that one place they all like to eat.
Yeah.
With the spices. We love it. But now that we are properly merched and we've rankinged and ratinged it, do we want to go into our teehee moments?
Yes, let's go into our teehee moments.
What do you have for us today, Arlen?
Okay, so I mean, I was surprised by the amount of teehee moments I have, to be honest, but I was feeling it. Page 15, we're starting off early. In Reese's POV, he says, last week had been so stupidly busy, and I'd been so desperate for the feel and taste of her that I'd taken her during the flight down from the House of Wind to the townhouse. A moment later, I'd been inside her and had barely sent us crashing into the rooftops like an Illyrian whelp.
Oh my goodness.
I'm sorry if you cannot withhold from taking me while we're in the sky.
Over the city while we're terrorizing the city of Valaris with our
giving a show.
Yeah, this is some exhibitionism to the max, and he don't care. He's like, I'll take you in the skies, baby.
So that was awesome. Reese and Farah do have a lot of like fun little back and forth that I loved. Page 47, Reese says, Eat the food first, then I'll eat you after. You know, little things.
He'll
Things
have
like
his
that.
feast. He'll have his little feast.
Page 54. This one's a little bit more cute. I love you more than life, more than my territory, more than my crown.
Oh yeah.
I feel like I remember when I read it, I did shed a little tear. I was feeling a little emo.
Yeah.
And then in page 56, this was after they were kind of having like a makeout session that was going to lead to something, but then it got interrupted by more, I believe. And he needed to cool down, and he kind of drew a bath. And when Feyre went to touch the bath water, it was ice cold.
He needed so if
you need ice cold water to cool you down after we had a little moment,
I feel like that's the only way. It's like
that's the only way.
If you don't need an ice cold bath after my lips touch your lips, like what are we doing here? Yeah, what is yeah. Like that's the only response that's appropriate.
Yeah. I need to see kind of like the what is that? When you get in the water and the water is so cold and you're so hot, I gotta see the steam coming off of you.
Steam. I gotta see the perspirations or whatever.
Yeah.
Yep. Agreed.
Page 83. I'd be an excellent nude model. It's been a while since we had paint involved. Would love to know more about that.
Flashback to the scene where they became mates and it was a paint-a-palooza. I think that's what he was referring to.
That's true.
And I love a man who remembers. I love when he's like, I remember every time we've ever, and I'm gonna recreate it for you. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Get me like that.
I just have a few more, but these moments were just too good.
Girl, you have a hearty crop today. Like usually it's me that's like, I just have a few more, but I am living for this. I'm living for it.
Page 100. Save that tongue for later. I have ideas for it.
You do?
Okay. Of course. And then I'm just going to do one more. Page 153 through 154. I want to paint you. You said once that nude would be best. This is Feyre. And then showing every naked inch of him sprawled across the bed, illuminating the faint reds and golds of his wings. He says, do your worst, curse breaker.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Just we get to do a nude painting of you and you're just like smile yourself out. Also, how does confidence, number one, the confidence. Number two, how does one, like, you're naked and sprawled in the bed and I'm just supposed to paint you?
Right.
I imagine that sesh involved a lot of different things personally. Yeah.
You had a few that I also liked, but that's why I was like, okay, let me let Katie
supplement
do those.
In.
Yeah.
Okay, so I also have a crop, and because I feel like we're allowing ourselves full crop. Like I pick 3 usually, but I'm just gonna go in.
Because they're short and sweet.
They're short and they're cutie, and we're gonna go for it. So page 52. If y'all don't know, Feyre's birthday is on the winter solstice, and Rhys is talking about that, and he says, "You were born on the longest night of the year. You were meant to be at my side from the very beginning." And I just thought that was very cute. Like I just like that. And then page 54, Rhys says, I wanted you. Or wait, I think this might be I forget if this is Rhys or Feyre. They're talking to each other, but one of them says, I wanted you even under the mountain. I chalked it up to all those horrible circumstances, but after we killed her, when I couldn't tell anyone how I felt about how truly bad things were. Yeah, I think this is Feyre. I thought this was Rhys. You know, I think it's Feyre as I'm saying it, but I am not confident about that. So, either one, take it, dear listener, however you like. Yeah. When I couldn't tell anyone how I felt about how truly bad things were, I still told you. I've always been able to talk to you. I think my heart knew you were mine long before I ever realized. Like your heart knew? Your heart just knew? My God.
Yeah. You were born and you knew that I was meant for you.
Yeah. Oh my God. From the dawn of time, we were supposed to be together. If that's not how it is, then it's not real. So we're going to Everyone's like, wait, I met my boyfriend 2 years ago. That can't be true.
Oh
It's
my
like,
God.
no, we need to be sewn into the fabric of fate at the beginning of the creation of the world.
Exactly.
So says fantasy. Page 54. Reese says, I love you, he breathed. More than life, more than territory, more than my crown. We had that overlap as I'm reading. I'm like, the same one.
Yeah.
Page 203. Another Reese, and he goes, every time, he gritted out, every time you feel exquisite. Every time.
5 stars.
Yeah,
5
10
star
out of 10.
reviews.
No notes. No notes. Page 204. Again, Resend is such a like smooth, dirty talker. I love it.
Smooth talking, so rocking. He's got everything that the girls wanted. Do you know that song?
I know that song vaguely, so I hummed it, but you got the lyrics.
Hannah Montana.
So I pulled that from like the melody itself from the deep, dark consciousness of my mind. So I appreciate it.
You didn't watch Hannah Montana?
Oh, I did. Oh, okay.
Hannah
Montana, it wasn't one that I followed like every episode, but I definitely I dabbled. I dibbled and I dabbled. I was big into Avatar The Last Airbender, which, oh my God.
I never got into that.
Yeah, okay. This is going to send me into a whole thing. I'm not going to go too deep into it. Avatar The Last Airbender, excellent show. I can't recommend it highly enough. It is so good. I would urge you to watch it because they're coming out with an Avatar The Last Airbender movie, which follows them.
They never did that before?
Well, they had a second show that followed the Avatar, like the next Avatar. So it's a little complicated, but they had the Avatar the Airbender show.
Yeah.
Then they had, and I'm only talking animated. They also had live action stuff. I'm not even going to bring that into this because it upsets me. But they had the original show. Then they had following the next Airbender, Katara, and that was a whole show, which I also watched. And then now they're doing a movie, but of all of the characters, because all the characters in Avatar The Last Airbender are like kids to like pre-teens to teens, like they're young.
Yeah.
It's one of them as adults. And there is this dark, brooding character from the original show that everybody was like, I can't go too into it, but these two characters should have been together and they weren't. And then he's now an adult and he's dark and brooding.
And he's hot.
So hot.
Okay, so, I'm going to look it up.
and now it's a whole thing because somebody at the studio leaked the movie before it was released in the fall, and everyone, out of respect for the creators, is really trying not to watch it, including me. Dang. So all I have is social media compilations of moments of this very hot character, like, oh my god, and he's a firebender and he like oh my god,
send some of those to me so I can
girl,
take a peek at his
character. You will immediately be into it. So anyway,
you know me, you know what I like.
I do, and I think you should watch the original show so that you could fully appreciate his hotness now. As
I remember it coming on did it come on Nick or something? Was it Nick or was it Cartoon Network?
I think it was Nickelodeon.
Yeah, but I never really like watched it.
Well, all of that to say, we're obviously aging ourselves here about what we grew up with. And now talking. Meanwhile, I'm in the Fire Nation, like doing air and water bending. But
this makes sense because recently Hannah Montana did like the 20-year anniversary like thing that came out on Disney Plus. So it's all connected to recent stuff too.
Oh yes. I have seen the Hannah Montana edits as well on social media. So so I vaguely knew something about that. Back to your regularly scheduled. Anyway, she feels exquisite every time. Page 204. Resan says, but mostly I think about this. how you feel around me, Feyre, how you taste on my tongue, how even if we have 1,000 years together, I will never tire of this.
Mm.
Never. You will
Wow.
never tire of this. Every time. He's not thinking about anything else except all that. I'm into that. Then page 204, he says, and this one's a little dirty. This one, so cover your ears if you're not ready for it.
I debated putting this one in, but I'm like, I don't know if I want to repeat it.
Oh, I'll repeat it loud and proud, baby. He says, look at how I fuck you, Feyre. Look at how perfectly we fit. Do you see why I can't stop thinking of this? Of you? Wow. Okay. I see.
I'm into it.
Yeah. And then page 210, my last one. The sex had destroyed me, utterly ruined me. Any lingering scrap of my soul that hadn't already belonged to her had unconditionally surrendered last night.
Wow. You're not giving over your soul to me.
after yeah. And it destroyed you. It ruined you.
Wow.
Okay.
This is what's missing from the world, you know?
This is what the world needs. This is what people need to show up talking like this. You know what I'm saying?
Soul destroying intimacy.
Oh yeah. So we heed through this one, y'all.
Yeah,
we had a hearty crop.
Yeah, I think what I loved about this book so much is also when you are like coming after the, you know, War and Ruin book where it's like it was a lot of war. You know, sometimes war gets a little drawn out for me. But this one, it was just like such a breath of fresh air. I don't know. I loved it. I loved all these moments. It honestly was a 5-star. So loved everything all around.
Yes. And now that we've got all of our great teehees, we've elevated our moods, let us go to the counselor's couch where
come on in.
Come on in. Listen, we have the noise machine going, so nobody's gonna hear what secrets we're all telling. And we get the lighting all good, and we're gonna just get comfy and get into it. And today we're gonna ask ourselves, what if these characters were our clients? And then also, how do we bring this into the real world? So we're going to start with an analysis of our faux clients, our characters, and then kind of bridge out whatever they're going through to a real world application that we see in the clinical space. Yarlin, do you want to kick us off with your analysis?
Yeah. So with this book, I chose Feyre. The girly pop was going through a healing journey in this book, and I love that. And she is also discovering a sense of community. So there are a few quotes in here that, you know, I'm going to bring up that of moments that I noticed, kind of like her kind of psychoanalyzing her. So right from the first page of the book, once I had dreaded that first snow, had lived in horror and terror of long, brutal winter. But it had been a long, brutal winter that had brought me so deep into the woods that day, nearly 2 years ago. A long, brutal winter that had made me desperate enough to kill a wolf that eventually led me here to this life, this happiness. So I thought that was a nice moment where she is kind of reflecting down like her past, her choices that she made, and then ultimately like the choices led her to her life now. And, you know, it's not something that she regrets, you know, at some point.
And she feels it feels the way she talks about it in this book, like she's very settled in herself. Now there's stuff for her to figure out, no doubt, and you'll get into that. And there's not a sense of, I felt like in the earlier books there was so much angst for her, rightfully so. Like she's going through so much. She's trying to figure out who she is and what she wants. And so there was this sense of trying to find yourself and like sense of purpose stuff. It was really, really rough. This to me is like you've reached a sense of groundedness about what has already happened so that you can look forward to whatever is next. And I like that even in she's like talking about these traumas that she went through, it's not like she's saying they're gone or she ignores them, but there's a settledness to it, which I really like.
Yeah, and in the first book or two, like she's kind of doing everything on her own and kind of like coping with everything on her own until
Mm.
now that she's kind of like built this found family and really has the support. Like that makes such a big difference, even in the real space too. That makes such a big difference in your healing journey and how you're able to, go through hard things. It depends on like your support system. So,
Mhm.
also in this book, Feyre describes ongoing nightmares and flashbacks to Reese dying in kind of that process. And that traumatic moment led her into a depressive episode that affected her motivations and interests. This is a quote from her: drew me from sleep, drew me from conversation, a painting, a meal. So, that moment kind of took away her, ability to fall asleep. She was kind of constantly waking up at night. She probably wasn't able to communicate a lot of the things that what she was feeling. She kind of lost motivation for her hobbies and even, kind of that self-care eating and things like that. So those are symptoms that we notice when someone is in a depressive episode. And as this is coming up in our session with me and Feyre,
Feyre's
I
on the
would
couch.
yeah, here on the couch, she's sitting. I would explore where she is currently at with some of those depressive symptoms and maybe make some short-term goals that we can create to decrease those symptoms and maybe increase interpersonal development, which she low-key starts doing in this book. So I love that she kind of just started doing that on her own. She's interested in the artist quarter and watching other artists work. Then at some point, she goes back to painting and eventually wants to bring community into her life and inspire other people. So, you see kind of the whole journey that she goes through and kind of being able to find back her passions. I think that's always really healing. And what I do love is that she also volunteered a lot after in the aftermath of the war and all of that. She says, I volunteered with a handful of them for tasks ranging from finding homes for those displaced by the destruction to visiting families affected during the war to helping those without shelter or belongings ready for winter with new coats and supplies. All of it was vital, all of it was good, satisfying work. And yet there was more. There was more that I could do to help. I just haven't figured it out yet. A few months ago, I'd begun donating a portion of my monthly salary. The idea of receiving such a thing was utterly ridiculous to rebuilding the rainbow and helping its artist. And the last, which is kind of like in the last page of this book, in page 218, Resina, I'm saying her name that way, which is kind of like that main artist who kind of found Feyre around there. Feyre Archeron, a request. Leave this world a better place than how you found it. So I loved kind of seeing her create this community and giving back. And that really felt like her purpose and her ability to find herself again.
Yeah. And it at the same time, it doesn't mean she's never depressed, right? And I like that you highlight this. She has her depressive moments. She says to Reese a couple of times, I feel so heavy, or the heaviness is back.
Yeah.
And what she's done is found a way to talk about her symptomology to her partner and to get
Yeah.
help and to get, the support that she needs. But it's a recognition that it can be what we call both and, that you can both be someone who is finding meaning in art and helping other people with art, and at the same time still have a bad day or still have a moment where those depressive symptoms come back.
Yeah, because I mean, war is not easy. I mean, I haven't been in one, but war is not easy, and almost losing like your soulmate, I think that's very terrifying. So she's valid with what she feels. So I think a lot of like validating her feelings, but then also trying to manage her depression is like kind of what we do on the counselor couch.
Oh yes.
But kind of the counselor couch takeaway from this book and like checking Feyre out. I love the example of giving back to people in need, and especially like when you hear about like natural disaster things that happen, like there was recently like something in Hawaii, like I think it was like not a tsunami, but like some flooding or something. And it's like
Mm,
the people who go and give back and help their community, I think that's such a really powerful thing.
mm,
Finding a community, finding your hobbies, it can make you a better person and help
yeah.
you with your healing journey.
Absolutely. And I like that Feyre finds community outside of like Rhysand and her inner
Right.
circle. She has
Yeah.
her own thing. And that always feels so cool to me because in some ways, Feyre is stepping into Rhysand's social world. And
Yeah.
she's now they're her friends and her family too now, and she's integrated with them. And
Hmm.
she very much stepped into his world. She left her whole life behind, her whole world,
Yeah.
and stepped into his. And so being able to have your own thing where it's like, I have my artist quarter stuff, I have my friend, how'd you say it?
Yeah.
Resina?
Resina?
I don't remember what I said in my head. I think Racina, I'm not sure. But you have your own artist friends and your own
Yeah.
sense of self. And of course, Rhysand is supportive of her. He shows up at different moments, like either mentally or physically,
Yeah.
to be like, hey, do you want me to go in there with you? Like, do you want
Yeah.
help? But she gets to have her own thing that she builds herself. And I think that
Yeah.
makes it really meaningful for her.
Yeah, that adds more to your individuality and
Mhm.
you don't have to rely on always like his like people. You can kind
Mhm.
of make your own
Mhm.
connections and have more friends. So I love that for her.
I do too.
Um
I do too.
so that was my counselor couch with Feyre.
Girl, I liked that so much. That was
Thank
I feel like
you.
Farah today walks away with a little bit of, it's that strengths based, like,
Yeah.
listen, go build your own thing in your own time. Track your symptoms. We do a little like tracking of symptomology and awareness.
Yeah.
And I hope she comes back next week with her therapeutic goals addressed. I'm
We
sure
shall
she will.
see.
We shall see. So, in my counselor couch analysis of character and life things, I have Cassian, and this is a
Woo.
little oh Cassian. This is like a little looking forward to what we might see in A Court of Silver Flames. This doesn't feel like a spoiler to me because you can read it on the back cover. We know
Yeah.
what POV it's coming from, but the POVs in A Court of Silver Flames are Cassian and Nesta for the most part. So
Mhm.
we thought it might be good to give us a little bridge. I want it to be like a bridge to Terabithia, but that's not what we're doing here. Give us a little
I
bridge.
love that movie.
I've never seen it.
You've never
Actually,
seen
I
it?
heard it was sad. I don't want to be sad.
Well, yeah, but I love Josh Hutcherson.
Maybe I'll check it out. I don't know. I just don't. I don't want to be sad. I'm like,
Well,
you're like, we
all of
can't.
these books make us sad.
That's really valid. That's really true. You're right.
we
They
don't
rip our
sob
hearts.
eyes out
Yeah, I
every time
know.
we read one of these books. Girl, we just
That's
read
such
Throne of Glass.
Cut to us in Kingdom of Ash, like,
For real.
anyway, we can't. Such a good point. Anyway, so for our character, I welcome Cassian into the counseling space. I'm like, sit down,
Does he
you know,
fit
like
on the couch?
I got a big ass couch with those like slats for his wings or whatever. So
Mm.
we're gonna need a big room with a big couch, but we'll make it work.
Oh yeah.
So I titled his kind of journey within this book, or what I learned about his psychology, as the quote unquote brute and belonging. And I use the word brute because that is the term that's used against him a lot. And I think it affects him a lot. And I'll get into it in a second, but I called it the brute and belonging. And in the course of A Court of Frost and Starlight, we learn a couple of really important things about Cassian. First, we learn that he has a really fraught relationship with the Illyrians. We knew this kind of in previous books, but we see for the first time from his perspective the kind of interactions he's having between the Illyrians and himself. And we also learned that his mother was cast aside and essentially murdered by the Illyrians. He is an Illyrian, but the community has never embraced him and never embraced his mother. They essentially cast her out of the village. They took Cassian from her and sent him to a different village to be trained. And they essentially killed her in some way that he doesn't even know. There's rumors that she was killed in these various ways, but he doesn't know how she died. He just knows that it was at the hands of the violence and neglect of this village where he grew up in. And he repays that cruelty with cruelty of his own. He goes back to his village, and he destroys it. And we don't know at this point, like, what manner that means. We get more details later on that I won't go into, but we know that he levels the village, and because he goes to visit it at one point in Frost and Starlight, and it's gone.
Yeah.
And what were you going to say?
I was going to say something, but I don't remember if it's in Silver Flame, so I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah, we're in a tough spot at the moment because both Yarlin and I are a hefty way through Silver Flame. So we won't get into specifics, but just know we have thoughts that we will be sharing.
Yeah, because he says a little bit more about what he does, and
that's exactly what I was just.
I'm like, you catch my drift.
I catch we're simpatico. We're So suffice to say, he visits this village during a court of Frost and Starlight, and it's gone at his hands. And we get more details about that later. Despite all of this, their violence toward him, his violence toward them, and despite the continued disrespect that he experiences at the hands of the Illyrians, he struggles with how he is portrayed to them. And everybody who tries to insult him or belittle him portrays him as a brute and as stupid. Like, he's just an Illyrian grunt, and he doesn't have any good ideas, and he can't, like, all he's good for is violence.
That's sad.
It is. And it's interesting because despite this, he continues to take heavy responsibility for anything he perceives as his failings with them. And he takes a lot of responsibility for what happens in the Illyrian society. And I have a few quotes on this. On page 15, this is actually from Rhysand's perspective, but I thought it was really cool to see basically Rhysand's protectiveness of Cassian and his take on Cassian wanting to still interact with the Illyrians. Rhysand says, "I want you home in Valaris." I added, when he opened his mouth to spew some Illyrian loyalist bullshit that he still believed, even after they had treated him like less than nothing his entire life. You see that Rhysand is pissed at the Illyrians on Cassian's behalf, but Cassian never feels that way. He always wants to do right by the Illyrians and be involved in Illyrian society. This even goes against, like, Azriel hates the Illyrians. He talks about the Illyrians like them over there, despite the fact that Azriel is an Illyrian. He does not associate with them. He doesn't want to be a part of it. Cassian seems to be the one that is like, there's something to be done here, and there's something to be gained by being connected to the Illyrians.
Yeah.
And then on page 13, it says, "I felt more than saw the wound strike deep in Cassian. It was the cost of leading my armies. Each injury, death, scar, he took them all as his own personal failings." And this is when they were talking about the losses that were basically had by the Illyrian warriors. A lot of who died in the Highburn War were Illyrians. And so Cassian takes those losses very personally, and the Illyrians don't let him forget it either. They berate him for it. And then on page 193, this is from Cassian's perspective after having talked to Nesta, and Nesta in A Court of Frost and Starlight is not doing well. She is drinking. She is, and here's the thing. I don't mind if you want to have alcohol as a part of your life. I don't mind if you want to have sex with a lot of people. I think I take a sex positive perspective. She is doing her drinking and her sex having in a way that is clearly toxic and trying to cover up for something.
Yeah.
And so they get her to come to one holiday, but she's she's got deep trauma that she hasn't processed, and she's mean to him. She
Yeah.
doesn't say anything kind to him. Now, once we get into Silver Flames, we learn some things, but we're not going to get into that. But as of right now, Frost and Starlight, she's being brutal with him. And she says some stuff to him and walks away from him. And he says, within sort of his own mind, as if he were nothing, as if he weren't worth her time, the effort, a low-born Illyrian bastard. And that is how he
Ugh.
feels about. Yes.
It breaks my heart. You know, it's kind of like this is an example of like the negative self-talk, like, you know, those things that either get said to us by other people and they stick with us, and then we start to say that to ourselves.
Yes.
It's so sad, heartbreaking.
Absolutely.
I can fix him.
I can help him feel better. Yeah, no, he definitely internalizes those messages and talks to himself that way and says, you know, he is that low-born, brute Illyrian bastard. Yeah. So it's hard to watch him go through that and feel that way about himself. And despite the fact that this is all going on, this is so hurtful to him, and so much of this is rot, he turns all of that into something good in my mind and works with the Illyrians to make their culture specifically more accepting and supporting of women. The Illyrian culture is very disparaging of women, very misogynistic. They want to, you know, keep their women contained, or there's all these sort of ideas they have about how women should be treated. Yeah. And so there's a couple of quotes I have about what Cassian wants to see for the Illyrians and in what ways he's turning all of this negative stuff into something that he can do to help his people. And it says on page 29, so training these women, giving them the resources and the confidence to fight back, to look beyond their campfires, it was for her, meaning his mother, for the mother buried here somewhere, perhaps buried nowhere, so it might never happen again, so his people, whom he still loved despite their faults, might one day become something more, something better. And then on page 222, this is Rhysand again talking about Cassian's sort of perspective. It says, this mission of Cassian's hatched years ago and perhaps close to fruition. It went beyond bets for him, went down to a wound that have never really healed. And Rhysand is thinking about how Cassian's mother's death fuels his desire to help Illyrian women. So you see he's doing something with it, but it's not an easy process. And he still very much has these negative this negative self-talk.
I mean, I can't imagine like one person having like kind of taking the brunt of like changing a whole society and like their views. I don't think that's easy at all, and that's a lot to take on. And you know, he still has hope that it's possible, especially I think like the hope that he's clinging on to is his like mission to do this for his mom, as in like paying respect towards her and what she went through, which I think is really beautiful and sad. He's had a tough life, poor guy.
Yes, and I think that's the piece of it that makes it heart-wrenching, is he still continues to try, he still continues to do right by his people and by his mom, and it's not, I think that there's an unfinished process here, and we're in a place where it's really hard for him to do this work, but he sticks to it.
Yeah.
And this is what brings me to our counselor couch takeaway and some things that I think I would be working on with Cassian. In terms of the Cassian specifically, I'd really want to be working with him on how do we find purpose and how do we have a goal for our people without having these harsh messages, and also what boundaries need to be set for him around interacting with some of this. You do not have to be called a brute every day of your life. Like you don't have to be belittled. There are ways to do this without sort of making yourself basically a punching bag. And I think that's kind of how he treats himself sometimes, is like he's just a punching bag. Like he's like, I can take it. It's a, you know, you ever watch what's the movie? The Family. There's a a family. I think they're from Mexico. It's like set in Mexico, and there's a magical house. And
Oh, Spy Kids?
no, no.
Oh.
It's animated. It's
Oh.
newer, and they all have different magical powers. And there's a sister who has mega strength.
Oh,
and she's
Encanto.
like, yes. I didn't remember. I was like, I don't remember. Colombia.
I was like,
okay.
Mexico.
I didn't know which like Latin American country it was set in, but in Encanto, when the older sister is like I can take it, like hand it to me, give it to me.
Yeah, the
like,
strong one.
Being pressed by like all these obligations.
Yeah.
Kind of, that feels like kind of how Cassian is to me. Like he's like, I can take it. Even if you go back to Mist and Fury, when Feyre is punching, like learning to fight, and Cassian's holding up these like punching pads, she burns right through them and burns into his hands. And she looks at him and she's having this moment, and he's like, I can take it. I'm here. And that's exactly how he and I would say for him, you don't have to be the punching bag. Like that's very noble and self-sacrificing, but like
also, we don't want that.
You don't have to do that. You don't. You can have these goals without being that punching bag. So that's what I'd want to be working on with him. Some of this like harsh self-talk, and I would want to harness what I call the power of altruism for him. And this is a little bit of an extension of what you brought up in your sort of daily takeaway, but I saw this through the lens of altruism. Altruism is the idea that you can find healing and find wellness by helping other people. That there is something that you gain from being altruistic, beyond just what good it does for other people. It's about what also good it does for you. And this comes out of, there's a book by Irvin D. Yalom, which is like the cardinal counselor's like group counseling book. It's called Group Psychotherapy. And he talks a lot about how altruism in a group setting, in a group counseling setting, helps people to gain more self-efficacy. They build confidence in themselves. The altruistic piece helps the person you're trying to help, but it also helps you. And I think you see this for several different people in this story. You see it for Feyre and Rhys. You see it for Cassian. And so I pulled a couple of quotes about the role of altruism or work or giving back as a way to heal oneself. And on page 4, it says, working had helped both of us, meaning Faye and Feyre and Rhys, keeping busy, keeping focused. And then on page 8, there was more that I could do to help personally. On 219, Feyre's remembering a quote from the Surreal, and it says, a request, leave this world a better place than how you found it. The Surreal had told her that in ACOTAR right before he was killed by Ianthe, or he, she, they. I don't know what the pronouns are on the Surreal, but the creature that is the Surreal put that forward to her. And then on page 288, this feeling, this excitement to wake up every day, to see you, to work, and to just be here. And that's Feyre to Rhys. And what you're seeing in all of these different projects that they're doing is they're each finding meaning and purpose, and I think finding their joy and grounding themselves in it by helping other people and making the world a better place. And I just really like that a lot.
Yeah, and it's I like that last quote because it's almost being like kind of showing gratitude for being able to wake up every day, be around the people that you love, do things, and I love that piece of it too.
Absolutely. Same. So that is our counselor's couch. Feyre and Cassian, we hope that you meet your therapeutic goals this week. Love on yourselves.
See you next time.
See you next week. I think now might be a good time for us to take a little break. And when we come back, we will get into the red flag court.
Yes, yes.
All right. Bye.
Bye. All right, and we're back, and
Woo.
now we enter the red flag court. Welcome to the red flag court. Come on in, don't be scared. Here we bring cases of personal and relationship misconduct to the jury, and we ask ourselves, is it a red flag, a green flag, or somewhere in between?
Is it?
So,
we don't know.
My first case that I present to the court.
Excellent.
So, this is between Reese and Tamlin, kind of early on in the book. And I want to call this kicking him while he was down, which I believe was brought up later on after. In page 92, Reese says to Tamlin, after, Reese goes and visits the spring court to kind of like check up on him or something. You nearly destroyed her in every way possible. She survived it, though. Survived you. And you still felt the need to humiliate her, belittle her. If you meant to win her back, old friend, that wasn't the wisest route. Then Tamlin says, get out. Reese continues his, you deserve everything that has befallen you. You deserve this pathetic, empty house, your ravaged lands. I don't care if you've offered that kernel of life to save me. I don't care that you still love my mate. I don't care that you saved her from Highburn or 1,000 enemies before that. I hope you live the rest of your miserable life alone here. It's a far more satisfying end than slaughtering you.
Oh my God.
So when I read this scene, I was like, yes, this is an appropriate case to bring up to the court.
Yeah.
So do we think that Reese overdid it here? Is it red flag behavior? What are we thinking of this spew of hate that he is doing?
Oh my God. Okay. This one's tough. This one's real tough. Because
Yeah.
there's a part of me, depends on what part of me you're asking for. If you want just reader, Katie, this does something. I'm like, but hell yeah.
You gotta be a judge here. You know, we gotta be
just not my own feelings.
Balanced.
Okay. I thank you for that centering comment. I needed a reframe. Okay, so I think this is red flag. And I'm saying red flag. Not because I didn't want him to do this. I like it. I'm kind of into it. And it's red flag. And I think Reese kind of knows it is a little bit. He goes back to Feyre and he's like, I did like a shitty thing. I said some really shitty things. And she's like, you get to have a bad day and say shitty things sometimes. So she even recognizes, she's like, yeah, that was kind of crazy, but we all get to have a day like that. I think there are ways that you could communicate your displeasure that don't involve some of this. This miserable end you're about to have is more satisfying than slaughtering you. Like, there were parts of this you could have left out. The parts that I really like, and I think you could find a way to communicate, is that first part. Like, you almost destroyed this woman, and then you felt the need to humiliate her when she got out from under your influence. And I think there is a way to communicate that sentiment and say, like, there is no forgiveness between us. You could set up so many boundaries around this. You could say what you need to say, identify the ways that Tamlin has hurt his partner, identified that he doesn't want to interact with Tamlin any more than necessary, or kind of however you want that relationship to look in the future. There's a way to communicate that. And some of the things he says, like that ending part where he's like, you deserve every terrible thing that's ever happened to you, you worm. That's where it starts. That's not for any reason other than for you to berate somebody. Yeah. And I think that, I think if I'm trying to be like level-headed about this, I think not only does that not do anything for you and Tamlin as people who have to work together in some capacity, but the spring court is already destabilized enough that and
it's all ruined.
Yeah, and you need the spring court. It's the buffer between the Fae and the human lands. So it doesn't promote your best interests either. It doesn't help you moving forward to say any of that. It doesn't change anything of what's happened in the past. And it's unnecessary, really. So if I'm going to be a judge and use my counselor hat, red flag. If I'm a reader, green flag, light it up. Like like justice.
I mean, I feel like even as a reader, I do think it was a little, like, it was pretty bad.
Do you remember? Let's call it back here for a second. He rolls up to the High Lord's meeting and says, "Hey, Reese, does she make that little sound when she comes in front of everyone? In front of everyone. You didn't have to do that."
But I feel like Reese would say some shit like that too.
But he didn't. He went in proper. He didn't say Reese took a lot in that meeting.
He would say that. I think if the roles were reversed, like, he would totally say something like that. I just think the last part was very heartless, and like Reese does have a tendency of kind of like turning the switch and being that. I think it could have just been changed to like, I hope that this is like a good moment for you to reflect on your decisions. Karma's coming to get you. But like the whole, like, also being like not grateful that this person literally saved your life, and like if it wasn't for him, like you and your mate could have died. I don't know. Like there was just like
that. I mean, that is a point. That is a point. I like this case because it's so fraught. Like there's no matter
you're in between
what.
Because Hamlin sucks.
There's no like
there's no
safe ground here. Like there's no position that I take that I feel totally comfortable. And I think that's because Tamlin is a character that's uncomfortable to consider. Like, how do you consider the fact that he absolutely was an abuser to Feyre and also did good things? Like, how do you contend with that? How do you... And I think Sarah J Maas talked a little bit about this on the Call Her Daddy podcast when the interviewer asked, like, people are asking if Tamlin has a redemption arc. I think Sarah J Maas was so thoughtful about this. She said, I have a really hard time knowing what to do with Tamlin because I have friends who have left their abusive relationships because of what Feyre was able to do to get out from under Tamlin, and they call their abuser Tamlin. Like they sort of use Tamlin as a proxy for like the abuser identity. And at the same time, one of the things we do as counselors is humanize experiences. I've worked with folks who struggle with anger management, struggle with like domestic violence, being perpetuators of domestic violence. And it's really, you need empathy to work with folks who do bad things, and folks who perpetuate harm against other people. The way we break up that cycle is to help people learn and heal and learn to do different. And I think Tamlin, in some ways, by the end of ACOTAR, is learning and trying to do different. He's saying, be happy, Feyre. And he's trying, and he saves her in Hybern's camp. Like, he helps them. Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like, and come on.
It doesn't erase what he has done. It doesn't erase what he was to Feyre. So it's really hard. I think I have a hard time feeling about Tamlin. I get really twisted up about it. But I think if we look specifically about what Rhysand says, this little monologue does not help him promote his goals in the realm. And it doesn't clarify anything in regards to their work together. Like, it doesn't promote any goals, I think, that he has around needing Tamlin to be on his game in the spring court. And so I'm gonna say red flag, but there's a part of me that wants to like be like, yeah, Reese, but we're gonna say red flag because
The court
What is
has
it?
spoken.
The court
Red flag for resend.
very uncomfortably says red flag. And,
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, my next case.
You really, honestly, you keep bringing these ones that are just like soul destroying.
But sometimes I feel like it's hard to choose them. But then I guess when I put them down, they're
when you write them down, the story inhabits you, and you just come out with these ones that you're like. So what do you think about that? And it's just like, dang it, girl.
So what do you think about the purpose of life?
Do you believe in a heaven and a hell? Talk about it.
Let's talk about it. Well, my next case I present to the court.
Pip pip.
Page 164. This is between Feyre and Lucian.
Okay.
Lucian, I think he's like coming up to the night court or something, and Lucian mentions the Band of Exiles. That is what we call ourselves. And Feyre's like, you have a name for yourselves? And what exactly does this Band of Exiles plan to do? Host events? Organize party planning committees? Lucian responds, you can be as much of an asshole as that maid over yours. You know that? I don't have anywhere else to go. You ruined any chance I have to go back to the spring. Can't be in the same room as her, which he means Elaine, and this court and have your mate pay for the very clothes on my back. So he was very hurt, kind of like by her immediate judgment. And I also was like, dang, she was being a little harsh there. I asked the court, do we think Feyre was lacking a little bit of empathy for Lucian? But I guess, some of her experience makes her feelings valid. But do we think that he needed to be judged this way?
This is a great question. I think the whole making fun of the Band of Exiles name, which is a little.
The name, do you guys need a
dramatic.
name? I don't know.
It's a little dramatic. But also
okay, drama queen.
Okay, queen, pop off, make meaning, do whatever you need to do. Here's the thing though. He's right in that he has nowhere to go where he can be comfortable. And so I bet it does feel like exile, right? Like if I really try to be empathetic with him, I bet it does feel like he's being exiled. And he's with Vasa, who is under the spell of this sorcerer, and she's exiled from her human lands. And Jurian, who is also exiled from everybody who used to know him, is like, fuck that guy. And now he made his mistakes. He did bad things. He was a player in his own kind of situation. But I think the thing is, it's like whether or not you find that name cheesy or you find the whole exercise cheesy, you've put him in a really, you've been integral in putting him in a hard place. Now, on Feyre's part, wouldn't have changed it. Spring Court was working with Hybern. Tamlin was being abusive. Lucian was trying, but it wasn't working that well. And he was more complicit than is comfortable. So it's not that I would change anything that she had done leading up to this point. And I don't think it helps anybody to make fun of him. He's at a point now, he's in a different category from Tamlin to me. Tamlin perpetuated abuse. Lucian, I think, but he was there, which is also sort of a perpetuating thing. I think Lucian is a little bit more able to have some sort of redemption arc or able to, and Feyre and Lucian are friends. They find a way to be friends, I think, in a way that Feyre and Tamlin could never. And Feyre shouldn't have to go through that, however she wants to handle it. But I think Lucian is basically yo, I don't really have anywhere to go and I'm trying to make the best of it, and can you not be a dick? Don't be a jerk to me about it. I'm trying to make friends and I'm trying to find a place that makes me feel comfortable. And
if we have a cheesy name, let us live.
If we have a cheesy name, let me live with it. I'm not that good at naming things. So just let me have my Band of Exiles. Let me be a little emo boy in the corner.
Can you imagine if they actually become a band and their band name is the Band of Exiles?
The Band of Exiles. Honestly,
What
that makes it with
what
Lucian.
instrument? Yeah.
I think he'd play the drums. I could see him as a
Yeah.
drummer because he's not. The thing about Lucian is Lucian. I quite like Lucian. I think he's very clever. I think he's smart. I think he's got a suave about him that's like people don't recognize, and he's got a way of
Yeah.
operating that's
He's
really
got a little something.
yeah. And he's a good friend. Like he tried to be for all the like bullshit that he perpetuated in book 1 and book 2 especially. He tried to be a good friend to her. And I think there's an honesty about that. There's something I think really endearing about that. But I don't think he'd want to be the singer. Like I don't think he'd want to be up front.
No.
I could see him like go metal eye, like he's got one half of his face covered by his red hair, the other is like, you know, those like
Yes.
Viking braids. He's got a Viking braid on
Ooh,
the
yeah.
side, and then he's got his
I dig
golden
that.
eye, and he's just like jamming out on the drums, like doing his
Yeah.
own thing. And
Oh
then
my gosh, I love that. I think Jurian
Yeah.
is gonna be lead singer.
oh yeah, drama.
He gives
That
the
guy is
vibe.
drama. Yeah, he's the lead singer, and Vasa plays the guitar. She's
The bass.
like, yeah,
Should be a cool bass player.
Yeah, yep. So now that we've established that, very important. I think
Sound off in the comments.
What would you like to see out of the Band of Exiles? I think I'd like to see like some 2000s like emo. Like I want to see some like Mr.
Day.
Brightside.
Yeah,
like like some oh, what is it?
Oh, the
I
Killers.
chimed in with a haven't you ever heard of
Panic at the Disco.
Yeah, I want to see a little bit of that
Yeah,
vibe from the Band of Exiles. Okay.
I dig that.
Maybe you know how we're dipping our toes into fanfic. Maybe we need to do some like fanfic art. Maybe that needs to be
and put it on a t-shirt.
Oh, the Band of Exiles. We have the Band of Exiles, and it's literally Lucian on the drums.
Oh my god, stop.
Okay.
Guys, let us know if you guys would be into that, and
Record
we can
that.
workshop something.
Yeah, we gotta make it happen. But to draw back to this moment, I do think Feyre was being a little bit like unnecessarily mean.
Yeah.
And I think she was trying, and she says in and around this moment, like she wants Elaine and Lucian to be happy. She wants them to like work it out, and they both, for their own reasons, are like not really. It's like very.
That's the thing that I noticed about Feyre. She's trying to like force people and like. You know, not gonna say anything else, but you know what I'm thinking of. But it's like she continues to try to force people to be in their healing journey when they're not ready, or like to try to like fix things. It's like, girl, just focus on yourself. I know you have good intentions, but not everyone is going to be on the same page as you, and that's okay.
And I think
so. She kind of is annoying with that.
Yes, she wants to be a fixer because, and I think, especially with Nesta and Elaine, she was the fixer. There was a day and a time where that is who she was to her sisters. And so I think it was really cool after her conversation with Lucian, and she like talks to Elaine too. Moore's been eavesdropping, and Feyre's like, God, I like fumbled that. And Moore's like, you just need to like let them work it out. Like, like meddling in this is not gonna help them. You gotta like let them do their thing. So all of that said, I do think this comment specifically is a red flag. I think there are other comments that she makes that are more caring, and she does say, like, she kind of takes it back, and she's like, you know, I don't remember if she says I'm sorry specifically, but she becomes more caring and empathetic through the conversation. But I think this initial sentiment, like, oh, you call yourself the Band of Exiles when you main parties, it's like, why are you saying that? There's just no reason to make fun of me. Like, there's no reason to make fun of him. He's already having a hard time, and I think he does a really nice job of being like, you know what, like, I am having a hard time, so maybe don't be mean about it. So for me, Feyre represents some red flag behavior in this interaction. We love her, we understand her motives and can empathize with her, but she's gotta correct up. Yeah, like check yourself before you wreck yourself, Feyre.
Yes. So, the court has spoken.
Yes, the court has spoken, and now it is my time to to make you make judgments about things. Mine, I don't feel like are as bad though. I gotta come like more. I gotta figure out something for Court of Silver Flames. I gotta do something. But in this example, this is another time where we're having some withholding information items here. So Rhys and Asriel, leading up to the winter solstice celebration, are lying to Cassian about some of the intel related to the Illyrian discontent. In the Illyrian camp, Windhaven, there is a lot of discontent after Hybern's War. The Illyrians see their sacrifice in the war as one where it's like they had to take the brunt of the sacrifice, and there are people who are sowing sort of lies and things about Rhys's motivation and saying Cassian's motivations, that they're trying to, subvert the Illyrian way of life or whatever. And Rhys decides to hold back some of this information from him in the days leading up to the winter solstice. Now, he knows that he doesn't want to keep it from Cassian forever. That's not the point. The point is he wants to give him a little bit of a reprieve from all this. But I think it still is another example of Rhysand withholding information from people as he sees fit. And Asriel goes along with it. So I have a couple of quotes from page 144, 145. This one from Rhysand: "But I knew Cassian as well as myself, perhaps more so. He wouldn't be able to leave it alone," meaning this issue with the Illyrians, "if he knew now. And after all he'd been putting up with these months, and long before it, my brother deserved a break, at least for a few days." And then there's a little snippet of conversation where Cassian asks, "Anything new about the grumbling in the camps?" And Rhys, in his mind, says, "I kept my face neutral. Az and I had agreed to wait until after the holiday." And then Asriel says, "Little to add to what you already know. Smooth, easy liar." That was the thought that Rhysand had. "Far better than me." So not only does Rhysand lie to Cassian about it, but Asriel jumps right on board and just smoothly lies, no problems with it. What do you think about Rhys and Asriel withholding information and lying here? Red flag or green flag?
You might be surprised by this one, but I am going to say green flag because I do think technically they're just withholding this to not ruin a holiday and kind of be able to have a joyful, what is this called? Solstice, where it's like, would we want his vibe to be ruined because of this now being in his mind? And like, what can he do about it? This is a moment of joy and stuff. So I do think it was appropriate. That was like a good call for them to make because they're doing it with good intentions. They're doing it to kind of like safeguard Cassian's moment and like experience with Solstice. I think it's a green flag.
Oh, okay. I have a little bit of a different take. I am not, for me, it's not red flag, certainly. Like, I don't think it crosses that.
Because it's not like a life or death situation.
Yes. And there's an element of this where we've seen Rhysand struggles with lying and withholding throughout these books. And he continues this like he cannot seem to step off it. Like he cannot seem to just be honest in general with his inner circle. I also think we see more and more often that Rhys and Asriel are in cahoots about something that other people don't know about. And I think what's hard for me, or what keeps it from being a green flag for me, is that when you don't tell someone something, to me, it's a lack of being able to have them have the autonomy to make their own decisions. Like, if Cassian's going to be upset about it over the holiday, like, let him work through it. Trust him to do what he needs to do, all that stuff. Now, I think if I take this like on a different level, I think there's a world where I would have done exactly what Rhys and Asriel did, where I would have I'm not lying, I'm just saving this information.
Yeah.
For a
just
couple
waiting,
of days.
Literally the day after. You can tell them.
Yes. And I think that is what keeps it from being read to me, is the fact that we're not lying, we're not never saying it, we're just waiting until
Right.
the next day when we all get back to work to do it. And it's almost a
Exactly.
respect for your well-being thing, but it just twinges yellow for me because Reese has a problem with this, and so does Azriel, kind of.
Yeah.
And there have been times where they've made calls like this, like with Moore and Eris in that meeting they had in
Yeah. Yeah.
ACOTAR, where they royally fucked it up. So their compass doesn't always point north on this. And I just, if I were like talking to Resand about it, I'd be like, I see what you're doing. I'm okay with it, I guess, but like, watch yourself. You're not good at knowing when to tell the truth and not. You can't be trusted.
Yeah. And I think Reese and Azriel kind of being in cahoots about things is a lot because like Azriel is like the spy master or whatever they
Yep.
call him. So he is kind of like out and about, like looking and checking things out.
Mhm.
And, you know, he reports it to Reese. So like, and then Cassian has a different role. So you know, I still give this a green flag because in this circumstance, yes, I understand like Reese's history, but let's just look at this case that we present, you know, this circumstance. So
I almost wish there was a conversation in the book where Reese could say, like, hey, there may be times where I need to withhold something from you for reasons that I can't identify. Like, how do we all feel about that as a group? Because I think even if they had permission from the inner circle and had this moment where they all connected about it, and Reese says, yes, there are times where I'm not going to tell you things for X, Y, and Z reasons. And if Cassian or Moore or whoever's, you know, not being told the full truth goes, you know what? I can live with that. Like, I'm okay with that. You're High Lord. There are times where you can't tell me things. Because to be honest with you, when I've been in positions where like I'm the underling, there are some times where I don't mind that. Like, ignorance is bliss sometimes. You don't don't bring me in on every like high level decision you have to make where it's really difficult. I'm okay not knowing. But I think giving people the option to be that person is important. And I just wish there was a little bit more of a structure around it, I guess. So we'll have to see.
I'm also thinking like they've already had these dynamics for like thousands of years too. So maybe it's kind of like established in
maybe they did have that convo
in their ways of, you know, their expectations.
I feel like, and this is, I can't say specifics, but you'll know what I'm talking about because it involves other Sarah J Maas books of other series. Sarah J Maas loves to have a character who likes secret schemes and plans. She loves to have somebody who's got a scheme and is duping people. And I'm just like, girl, what is this for you? Like, what are we like? We always have a character who like comes out later with a scheme and everyone's like, why didn't you tell me?
Because it brings chaos.
I mean, it brings chaos to the characters, it brings chaos to the reader. I see it. It
adds an element to the story. So
yes. So all in all, the court is divided a little bit, but not that much. Green flag for Yarlin, yellow flag for me, and Resand lives to lie another day. So you've been working on your evil cackle, I see.
Oh my gosh, our Halloween episode, we totally have to dress up as like witches or something.
Oh, say less. All right.
Don't make me. When we do the red flag court, it's gonna be iconic.
I will get, you know, those pointy, like I'm gonna like iron talon you nails. We'll get some of those. Love and we'll have to start talking with our hands more. We'll have to do a little bit of this, a little bit of this, a little bit of this.
I'll be spinning the cauldron.
I'll have my pointy hat and I'll
Oh my gosh, that'll be so fun.
Okay. Well, put that in the books as well. Band of Exiles band t-shirts and witches for Halloween. Okay, so my final course or case for the court is between Feyre and Amren. Feyre, as you know, continuing to try to fix things for other people, and her sisters are giving her a run for her money. To be honest, like her sisters are going through it, but like she's just like, I just want y'all to be okay. Like so much has happened, and I think she still takes some responsibility for them going into the cauldron. There's stuff there for her too, but
For sure.
throughout A Court of Frosted Starlight, several people try to like get in with Nesta to figure out what's going on with her. Feyre tries to get her to come to things. Rhysand offers her several jobs to be like, hey, you could do this or that. She's like, no, no, no. For me, it's going to be the drinking and the intercourse and the taverns, the late night taverns, and my shitty apartment. So Feyre goes to talk to Amren because it turns out that the only one who even can get in with Nesta that has some kind of bond with her is Amren. And I think you see in the previous books, Amren and Nesta are a little bit similar. One in that they're made, they have this power that's like crazy weird. And they're both kind of like stoic and harsh women. And I don't mean harsh in a bad sense, but just like they are imperious. That is the word I'm looking for. They are both these imperious women, and I think they share a bond in that. And the interaction between Feyre and Amren is a little bit fraught because Feyre wants Amren to tell her kind of what's happening with Nesta, what's going on, how can Feyre help Nesta. And Amren says, I like your sister. I like her because so few do. I like her because she is not easy to be around or to understand. And because I like her, I am not inclined to gossip about her current state. And then Feyre says, it's not gossip. I'm concerned. She's starting down a path that, and then Amren cuts her off. I will not betray her confidence. What do you think about Amren maintaining Nesta's privacy and confidence? Is this a red or a green flag?
I easily think this is a green flag. I think this is having good boundaries, and especially kind of dealing with Nesta's dynamics and like already her struggles. Amren is the only person she has been able to talk to. So why would Amren go ahead and like ruin that? Because if Nesta were to find out that she, told Feyre, or Feyre kind of had those conversations with her, then she definitely wouldn't trust anyone. So I do think this is a green flag. Just because, I think that it's very appropriate to have those boundaries.
Yes, I agree. I think this is green flag behavior on Amren's part. The one thing that I think is hard for people to understand, especially within the work that we do as counselors, like people will say, well, what if somebody does this? And like, doesn't that make you mad? Or what if your client lies to you? Or what if they, whatever. And the whole thing is, if you really want to get into people's confidence and you want to earn their trust, you kind of have to be accepting of it. Like, okay, if my client lies to me, they lied to me. They probably have a reason. I'll wait for them until they feel like they don't want to lie anymore. If my client, like whatever, you have to be able to sort of sit through people in their hard moments in order for them to open up and to learn and to grow. And so I think Amren does a really nice job of maintaining what we would in the counseling profession call confidentiality. And she didn't have to sign an informed consent to make that happen. She informally signed the informed consent of good friendship. And that's how we maintain that confidentiality. Now, there are some things that unfold in A Court of Silver Flames that I think change some of this. I'm not going to go into it, but at this point, in this moment, in this book, I agree with Amren. And I think if no one else has a way in with Nesta, somebody needs to have a way in. And it's not about talking about her behind her back. That's not the way to do it. So,
and especially with how Nesta and Feyre kind of like feel about each other, where like Nesta,
it's a clash.
Yeah, they clash a lot. So green flag.
Yep. Amren, green flag to you, my lady. You did it. You survived the gauntlet of...
She's a good friend.
Oh, let me tell you what, she's a great friend. Yeah, I think what's cool about Amryn is she's not easy. Like
Mhm.
she's not this like affable, like ha 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 whimsy
No,
character.
she's like stern.
She's stern, she could be rude, she could be abrasive, she's violent. Like
Yeah.
she's a very, I think, for a character, I think women characters, it's hard to come by women characters like her,
Yeah.
where she is fully a part of the inner circle. She is supportive. She will protect anybody in that circle, but she is not like, she doesn't fall into these like women tropes of women
Mhm.
characters. She very much is like a dragon. Like
Yeah.
she's fierce, and I like it.
Yes, I do love her. So,
So
the red flag court has spoken. Thank you for coming in, and we will
pip
see
pip.
you in
We will
court
see
next
you
time.
in court, eye to eye next
You'll
time.
hear
And
from my lawyers.
my people will contact your people. I need the nails right now. My people will contact your people. Okay. So that wraps up our red flag court.
Now it's just what's up in the realm. What are we
What's up in the realm,
reading? What are we
everybody?
feeling?
What are we doing?
What are we
Okay.
doing?
What are you reading? What are you getting into these days?
Well, finishing up Silver Flames.
Yes, of
So
course.
halfway through that bad boy,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
I am gonna start Daggerbound that I recently bought.
Okay.
Gonna be into that soon.
Do you know what the premise, like, what?
Honestly, I know it's like a kind of like a dark fantasy type of thing, but
Hell yeah.
honestly cannot remember.
You know what? Sometimes
I think it's a dystopian something.
Okay. I sometimes people will be like, "Why did you pick this book?" I'm like, literally pretty cover. Like I can't tell you.
It has a cool cover.
Yeah, that, like, the reasons are not always reasoning. It's just a
Yeah.
vibe. Like, it's a vibe. I want to read it. I see it and I like it and I want it. So I support that.
Yeah, I've heard good things of it. I think it is like dystopian somewhat. So I'm gonna get into that.
Excellent.
I recently read Half City, which is like the one that I
Mm.
announced that was in my realm last
Mhm,
episode.
mhm.
Loved it. Amazing.
Do you know what? I bought it because of that. I
Oh
have
my
it in
gosh.
my possession.
You need to read it.
Okay, well, I got things to read before I do, but I'm gonna do my best.
I
Yeah.
love it. It was
Yeah.
really good. Love an academy setting. That's just like my vibe. And the second book is coming out, I think, in October or something like that. So I'm really excited.
So not a long wait then.
Yes, not a long wait.
But
But that's my realm. What's up in yours?
Oh, my realm, you know, we're all over. We're a little bit of this, we're a little bit of that, we're all over the place. I recently finished a book called Fan Service by Rosie Danan. And it was honestly such a good book. It was about this actor who plays a werewolf in a show, like in the regular everyday life, but it turns out that he actually turns into a werewolf. Like, the lore of the show is connected to him somehow, and he starts turning into a werewolf. He's like, does this show, honestly, the show he's in gives me very like supernatural vibes, so it was also a little nostalgic.
Love that.
But then he's like, years after he had been in the show, he's this like kind of out of work actor guy, and then he actually starts turning into a werewolf. And so it's this really,
like he like got bit by something.
I can't go in it. Well, you're gonna. I can't. I don't want to spoil how that all happens.
Okay, yeah, don't spoil it.
It's this really cool story where one of his biggest fans when he was in the show, and him, like, he seeks her out because she knows all the lore of the show. And there's so much that ensues with that. And it is spicy and it's funny, and
it sounds very different. Yeah,
it is very different. And I was reading it. It was a recommendation in a book club that I'm in. And so I don't think I naturally would have picked it up, but I'm so glad I read it.
That's so awesome.
Good. And then I finished Game On, which is the third book of the Into the Darkness series. Oh my God. It was So good.
I
It
have
was
to read it. I have to read the other ones.
Girl, I texted you about this. It was
You were
wow.
like, have you read any of the other books? I just finished Game On and I need to talk about it.
I was like, have you done it? Do it now. And you were like, yeah, I got like stuff to do. I'm like, do it now. Like, it was so
I would
good.
be totally down to read it, but you know, you said like some characters come up from the other ones, so
yeah, you do have to. I would read Lights Out and Caught Up first, but Game On, oh wow, it was just really good. It was just really good. So and then I'm in the landing stages with A Court of Silver Flames. I'm almost done with it, and then up next I have Assistant to the Villain, which has been on my realm for a little bit, and this one called Blackouts, I think, which is I'm doing a co-read with someone and they picked that book, so I have no idea what it's about, but
okay.
I here we are. We're juggling all, we're juggling books right now. And I also really want to read Poison Daughter. Like that's if I could,
I've seen it before. It looks nice.
Just one for me. I would want to read Poison Daughter. So we're trying to get there.
Maybe we could co-read that one.
A little co-read moment. I would do that. Okay, here's the issue though. Here's a little tea on Poison Daughter. She was independently published. My friend got a copy of it. Then a publisher, because it got so popular, picked up the book. All of the books got pulled from the shelves. And now it's getting re-released in July with like a different cover and all this stuff. So I was telling my friend, I really want to read this, but I can't find it anywhere. You go to Barnes & Noble, they don't have any. You go to independent booksellers, they don't have any. And it's because they're republishing it in July. So
I thought I saw it on my Kindle when I was looking through like things
do you know
to
what?
buy.
Actually, it might be on a Kindle. I was looking for physical copies. So if you catch it on a Kindle, my friend sent me the physical copy. She was like, I cannot let you not read this.
That's awesome.
So,
she likes it.
She loves it. It's Emily who did the podcast.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. She sent me, she was like, you must read it. So she's that one, and then The Rights of the Starling, which is the second book Shield of Sparrows is another one. So many I almost called it shows, series. So many books, so little time. It's a real conundrum. But we are gonna forge forward. We're gonna do it. And we will come back with any updates we have about these books in our realm. And that leads us to our final remarks and our social media shout out. First and foremost, if any of today's topics were triggering or upsetting, please make sure to seek out individualized mental health treatment. And remember that this podcast is for fun. It's based on our opinions and experiences, and it should not be used for diagnosing, assessing, or treating mental health conditions. Our next episode, out on May 6th, will cover A Court of Silver Flames. So be on the lookout. And that's going to be our last ACOTAR book before we go into Crescent City. It's happening, y'all.
It's happening.
And then if you'd like to support us, interact with us, anything like that, make sure that you subscribe and rate the podcast on Apple, Spotify, or YouTube. Ratings really help podcasts. So if you'll throw us a rating, that would be really helpful. Follow us on Instagram at Fae and Fables Pod. Email us at faeandfablespod@gmail.com. And as always, we have merch. And we're repping Night Court merch, but we also have Fae and Fables merch. So get out there, get your merch. Go to the link tree in our Instagram to find our Etsy page. And all in all, thank you for listening today. And we will see you very soon.
We'll see ya. Bye.
Bye.